Multitasking. Is it skill or myth? We're talking about that today. And the answer? The answer might surprise you. First, can you multitask at all? The answer is complicated. The obvious answer is yes, you can walk, talk and breathe while doing something else. You're constantly doing more than one thing at any given time. And although this is technically true, it doesn't bring us anywhere in regards to multitasking. We need to go deeper. We need to explore the limits of multitasking to get a good grasp of what is skill and what is myth. What seems to define multitasking for most people is complexity. The tasks you're doing need to be complex enough to count for multitasking. So, doing several sufficiently complex actions at once is multitasking, right? Not quite. This is the most popular notion of multitasking, but it is not quite right. Let's see where it falls short. Let's first go over an example that perfectly fits that description. Let's say you are solving a Rubik's Cube, sending a text on your phone, and practicing Spanish at the same time. That would be wonderful multitasking. Very, very difficult, but wonderful. Where this definition falls short is if we try to stretch it in the opposite direction. If we take walking, talking on the phone, and scratching your arm at the same time, that wouldn't count as multitasking. None of those actions are complex enough, but that's strange. Walking sounds simple to us now, but as toddlers we needed several months to learn it. And even as adults with tens of thousands of hours of practice, we still trip and stumble sometimes. Talking is also incredibly intricate. It combines conjuring an idea, recalling the words, and then arranging them in a meaningful structure. All of that in a split second. Walking and talking are complicated for sure, but we don't treat them as complicated because we have automated them. We don't consider a lot of what we do to be complicated because it doesn't require any attention. This happens because your brain is majestic. It can remember an action that you do often, and with enough practice, it can learn to do that action without any thinking from your part. Focus. Focus is where things finally start taking shape. Focus! Focusing on something is moving your attention to that thing, putting the thing in your head and letting your thoughts play with it. Your focus is an extremely powerful tool. It allows you to ignore all sights, smells and sounds of the surrounding world and only perceive the one thing that you decided to focus on. And due to the way it works, focus has one major limitation. Anyone can do a few things at once, but no one can focus on a few things at once. So, what happens when you're doing a few things that all require focus? It's simple. Your brain focuses on one for a while and then switches to the other one. This is the exact same approach that your processor uses to switch between different applications on your computer. And your brain is so fast that it is easy to mistake switching between different tasks as focusing on all of them. And now, knowing how focus works, we can create our final definition for multitasking. Multitasking is combining an activity that requires focus with one or several activities that don't. This allows for making progress with all of those activities at the same time. To multitask successfully, you need to match the activities well enough. You need a main activity to focus on and one or more secondary activities that don't require as much focus. A good example would include combining things that you find boring or mundane with something constructive. Maybe mowing the lawn and listening to a podcast, or walking to work and making the calls so you can organize a party at home. Be careful though. If you combine things in the wrong way and try to focus on several things at once, you will get less done. You need to make sure that your focus is required by only one task for multitasking to work. If you want to know more, just click the card above so you can watch my single tasking video. So if you want to be a great multitasker, you need to get better at finding activities that work well together. Play with different ideas and find out what works for you and what doesn't. The more you practice finding those combinations, the better multitasker you'll become. So, in conclusion, is multitasking myth or skill? It's a little bit of both, really.
Subscribe to Jordan and stay awesome.